This video will discuss those business entities which will enter into contracts for tickets to Mars with newly arrived residents. I call these entities ticket corporations. In very simple terms, the ticket corporations will buy tickets to Mars from the Confederation and then sell these tickets to the new residents, who will pay for the tickets out of their salaries, much as one might buy a home in the United States. A detailed example follows. A ticket corporation wants to buy 100 tickets to Mars. The Confederation will sell these tickets at various prices at various times, depending on the market. In this example, I will say that the Confederation sells these 100 tickets for $750,000 each in Confederation script. This contract then is for a total of $75 million. The ticket corporation will probably not have $75 million of Confederation script lying around. So the Confederation agrees to a 20-year contract with a 6% interest rate. Let us simplify things and say that the 6% is compounded annually, so the annual payment to the Confederation for the tickets is a little over $6 million. The monthly payment is about $500,000. These numbers are not exact, but if you don't want to take my word for these numbers, you can work out the financial arrangements yourself. The ticket corporation will already have some money in the bank, so it can support the first few payments, even when only a few of the tickets have been sold. Assume, though, that over the next 3 years, the ticket corporation enters into contracts with 100 new residents. 30 the first year, 30 the second year, and 40 the third year. The periodic payments from the ticket purchasers start to come in. If each person pays, say, $40,000 per year, the total payments the first year will be $1.2 million, $2.4 million the second year, and $4 million the third year. Now, these sums are less than the total needed to make payments to the Confederation. Note, however, that the 20-year repayment for the tickets is likely to be slightly less than the 20 to 25 years required for most people to pay off their tickets. Thus, in the latter years, the ticket corporation will be receiving $4 million per year for tickets for which it no longer owes any money. In addition, the ticket corporation can enter into new ticket contracts with other arriving residents without having to purchase additional tickets. If there are short-term cash crunches, the ticket corporations can take loans from a bank at the Earth Embassy. If you have followed so far, you can see that the ticket corporations can make profits if they balance their finances carefully. They will need to make monthly payments to the Confederation from the sums they receive from the purchasers of the tickets. In addition, of course, the expenses of the corporations must be met, and the corporations need to make profits. While this may sound difficult to financial laypersons, in some ways this is exactly how car sales works at dealerships in the US and other nations. Moreover, the concepts here are rather simple stuff for those trained as accountants, and, again, insurance companies and other financial businesses operate in similar ways. When I ticket corporation, I don't mean to imply a huge organization with large offices. In the beginning, certainly a ticket corporation would probably be just one person. After all, if there are only 50 people at the Earth Embassy making 75 payments a month to the corporation, you may not even fill an entire work week keeping track of the payments and the monthly payment to the Confederation. A larger part of the ticket corporation's time would probably be spent negotiating ticket contracts with incoming Earth Embassy residents and making negotiated purchases of tickets from the Confederation. As for that latter point, I suppose there would need to be some kind of law or regulation requiring the ticket corporation hold at least 20% of the tickets needed to satisfy ticket contracts for those paying the corporation. After all, the ticket corporation would have an incentive not to buy tickets to Mars to minimize its monthly payments to the Confederation. Those tickets, of course, would not mean anything except a bookkeeping entry until someone had actually paid off their ticket. Moreover, the Confederation would be strapped for cash if the payments it was receiving were far below the number of persons at the Earth Embassy and making payments to the ticket corporation. In addition, it probably makes sense to require the ticket corporations to make purchases of tickets to Mars in larger rather than smaller batches. This would minimize transaction costs for both the Confederation and the ticket corporation. No need to negotiate a purchase of 10 tickets every week when you could require the ticket corporation to buy a batch of at least 100 tickets, perhaps annually. Returning to a bird's-eye view, new residents will be required to buy a ticket to Mars. They will pay a large portion of their earnings to the ticket corporations. The ticket corporations will buy these tickets from the Confederation and issue the tickets once the tickets have been paid off. The Confederation will receive its funding from the purchase of tickets by the ticket corporations. The Confederation, in turn, will use these funds to create the fleets of spaceships, equipment, and other items needed to get colonies started on Mars. And of course, the Confederation will need to create a small town at the Earth Embassy, a place where they can house and feed the people until they get their seat on a transporter vessel to Mars. Assume there are 2 or 3 ticket corporations operating when there are 500 people at the Earth Embassy. The 3 ticket corporations may be required to pay for and hold 200 tickets at $750,000 per ticket, as noted above. If we use the numbers from above, the Confederation will then receive about $4 million per month to fund operations at the Earth Embassy and beyond. That is about $50 million per year. Not bad, but not enough to get to Mars. If the mission to Mars sells 50,000 tickets over time, as it proves it can and will get to Mars, then its monthly income will be approximately $500 million. Over 10 years, that's $60 billion. Now we are talking real money. There are lots of holes in these figures, since everything here is an approximation. However, these figures do not include money that might be lent to the Confederation over the years, what might be sold, mostly real property on Mars, to others outside of the mission. To Mars, gifts or other kinds of help that will surely be available with the mission to Mars growing success. The main idea today is how the ticket corporations can kickstart operations at the Earth Embassy and to translate the labor and ingenuity of the people at the EE into funding to support the Confederation's plans for Mars.